First of all, I'd like to welcome everybody for coming out, showing interest in our project and our hospital. Probably two of the most asked questions I get in regards to this project is why the ER and why now, and when they say why now, they typically refer why we're having a capital campaign. As you know, we don't have a history of doing a lot of fundraisers except through our Twigs organizations and what they do in our golf outing. As a matter of fact, our largest capital campaign to date goes back to the original construction of the hospital facility at our site now, when we went to the public through a bond election and got the okay for the original $1.2 million worth of bonds. We originally did not have a fourth floor in that configuration, and a group of citizens went out and raised $400,000 for that fourth floor, and a fourth floor was added. And I can tell you through the years that if we didn't have that fourth floor, we wouldn't have the capacity to take care of the patients and the patients' needs that we've seen over the last 40 years plus. So we really haven't had a history of going to the public for capital campaigns. And I'm going to talk about why we're going to the public at this point in time. But first of all, I wanted to talk about the need for the facility. As you know, over the last 15 years, you've seen a lot of construction and growth of our hospital facility. We've grown in volumes, we've grown in capabilities, we've grown in medical staff. And back in 2003, we had about 13,000 annual visits in our ER facility. And we made a number of improvements operations-wise in regard to our ER, as far as metrics for door-to-assessment time, door-to-discharge time, door-to-admission time. And we think that's one of the benefits of that project was our increased volume in the ER. As a matter of fact, we're going to see 17,000 plus patients in our ER this year, and last year our facilities were so crowded that we actually saw over 2,000 patients in the hallway. We had to go into diversion status 3 times during that year, and that basically says that we are so full that we had to divert ambulances from the facility because we just didn't have any more room to take those patients. So when a CEO hears things like seeing patients in the hallway and diversion of ambulances, and we hear it from a board level, we know we've got something that we've got to address. So we knew that we had to do the ER. We've done a lot of projects out there, but obviously the ER became a prime priority for that. And we engaged a design-build firm who also brought in an operations consultant. That operations consultant right-sized the project. We had architects coming in and proposing 26,000 square foot facilities. These guys came in, they used Freeman & White, a consulting firm that specializes in ER construction. They built models, they built patient flow models, and they determined that what we needed was 12,000 square feet. So we feel very comfortable coming to the public and saying we're not overbuilding, we're building for the future, and we're making the best use and the best value for the community as we ask for these dollars. Now, why the ER project? We have a lot of wants and needs at the hospital. As a matter of fact, excluding the ER project, we have about $17 million worth of projects in the pipeline. And that's just the ones we're planned, because as any head of a business knows, that you'll be sitting in your office someday and somebody will come in with something that's not planned for, is not on the budget, but needs to be done yesterday, and it's the most important thing that you can do right now. And that's typically one of those things we juggle. But right now we've got $17 million, excluding the ER, in that 5-year capital. And as we look at things, there's a lot of backed infrastructure items. For example, we put in a picture archiving system for $1.3 million this year. That's not something that most of our patients or our community can touch and feel and see the benefits of. And of all the projects we've got in the pipeline, we don't know of one that affects more people or has the potential of affecting more people from a quality of life standpoint or even a life standpoint as the ER. The ER, we're all potential patients to the ER. It could be a life and death situation. Our mothers, our fathers, our brothers, our sisters, our sons, our daughters are all potential patients of the ER. And the emergency services of a community many times determine the quality of life of our loved ones and may actually determine the life or death situation of our loved ones. So we thought as we went and we decided that we needed capital for these needs, we saw no more appealing project to our community than the ER, and that's why we chose the ER for this project. We also face uncertain times like all our entities do. We're facing a pretty tough economic situation. Things seem to ebb and flow in our business. We have good years, we have not so good years, and we want to make sure that this ER facility is built because we think it is the best project that we as a hospital can be engaging in right now. Our board, our employees, our medical staff also have a strong sense of an independent community hospital. We think independent community hospitals where decisions are made locally in the best interest of the citizens of that community, in the best interest of that community, because many times the people making those decisions live in that community. Their future generations will experience the things that we create today, and we will determine the quality of life of the future. We think that's best served by an independent community hospital. So we're very dedicated to that. We've seen a lot of hospitals around us in the state of Indiana be acquired. We'd like to keep that independence. We think that there are services that we provide as an independent community hospital that may not be provided otherwise. Obstetric services is certainly not a profitable service for us, but we see that we need to continue that as a community hospital providing for the needs of the community. Pediatrics is not a profitable service for it, but again, we continue that because of what we believe is the vision of a community hospital. And I just want to emphasize how strong our board, our medical staff, and our staff feels about that community ownership and that status of an independent community hospital. And we're very dedicated to keeping that status.